And so Joseph entered and reported to Pharaoh, saying, My father and brothers, their sheep and herds, and everything that they possess, have arrived from the land of Canaan. And behold, they stand together in the land of Goshen. Likewise he stood in the sight of the king 5 men, the last of his brothers. And he questioned them, What do you have for work? They responded, Your servants are pastors of sheep, both we and our fathers. We came to sojourn in your land, because there is no grass for the flocks of your servants, the famine being very grievous in the land of Canaan. And we petition you that you may order us, your servants, to be in the land of Goshen. And so the king said to Joseph, Your father and brothers have come to you. The land of Egypt is in your sight. Cause them to live in the best place, and deliver to them the land of Goshen. And if you know there to be industrious men among them, appoint these as foremen over my cattle. After this, Joseph brought in his father to the king, and he stood him in his sight. He blessed him. And he questioned him, How many are the days of the years of your life? He responded, The days of my sojourn are 130 years, few and unworthy, and they do not reach even to the days of the sojourning of my fathers. And blessing the king, he went outside. Truly, Joseph gave his father and brothers a possession in Egypt, in the best place of the land, in Ramesses, as Pharaoh had instructed. And he fed them, along with all his father's house, providing portions of food to each one. For in the whole world there was a lack of bread, and a famine had oppressed the land, most of all Egypt and Canaan. From which he gathered together all the money for the grain that they bought, and he took it into the treasury of the king. And when the buyers had run out of money, all Egypt came to Joseph, saying, Give us bread. Why should we die in your sight lacking money? And he responded to them, Bring me your cattle, and I will give food to you in exchange for them, if you do not have money. And when they had brought them, he gave them food for their horses, and sheep, and oxen, and donkeys. And he sustained them in that year in exchange for their cattle. Likewise they came the second year, and they said to him, We will not conceal from our lord that our money is gone, likewise our cattle are gone. Neither are you unaware that we have nothing left but our bodies and our land. Therefore, why should you watch us die? Both we and our land will be yours. Buy us into royal servitude, but provide seed, lest by the dying off of cultivators the land be reduced to a wilderness. Therefore, Joseph bought all the land of Egypt, each one selling his possessions because of the magnitude of the famine. And he subjected it to Pharaoh, along with all of its people, from the newest borders of Egypt, even to its furthest limits, except the land of the priests, which had been delivered to them by the king. To these also a portion of food was supplied out of the public storehouses, and for this reason they were not compelled to sell their possessions. Therefore Joseph said to the people, So as you discern, both you and your lands are possessed by Pharaoh, take seed and sow the fields, so that you may be able to have grain. 1/5 part you will give to the king, the remaining 4 I permit to you, as seed and as food for your families and children. And they responded, Our health is in your hand. Only let our Lord look kindly upon us, and we will serve the king with gladness. From that time, even to the present day, in the entire land of Egypt, the 5th part is turned over to the kings, and it has become like a law, except in the land of the priests, which was free from this condition. And so Israel lived in Egypt, that is, in the land of Goshen, and he possessed it. And he increased and was multiplied exceedingly. And he lived in it 17 years. And all the days of his life that passed were 147 years. And when he discerned that the day of his death was approaching, he called his son Joseph, and he said to him, If I have found favor in your sight, place your hand under my thigh. And you shall show me mercy and truth, not to bury me in Egypt. But I shall sleep with my fathers, and you will carry me from this land and bury me in the sepulchre of my ancestors. And Joseph answered him, I will do what you have ordered. And he said, Then swear it to me. And as he was swearing, Israel adored God, turning to the head of his resting place.